All right, we are live. Good morning, y'all. My name is Matt, and I am one of the owners and designers here at Let's Get Wreathen. Welcome to Craft Chat with Matt. How y'all doing today? Good morning, y'all. Ooh, let me mute that. We have with us this morning Miss Kathy Champagne-Ainsworth from Clear Sky Fiber Arts. Welcome, Miss Kathy.
Thank you, Matt. It's a pleasure to be here.
And we have Miss Leanne in the house. Good morning, Miss Leanne. Welcome. All right. So for those people that don't know who you are, Kathy, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell them a little bit about what you do?
Okay, thanks. As Matt said, I'm Kathy Ainsworth, and together with my husband, Rick, who is a disabled Vietnam vet, we own and operate Clear Sky Alpacas, which is an alpaca farm in Michigan, central Michigan. And as a kind of an offshoot from that, because alpacas are a fiber animal like a sheep, I have Clear Sky Fiber Arts, of which I do all sorts of handcrafted things using their fiber, or items that are either fiber related, themed, animal themed, that type of thing, farm and country themed. So that's what I do.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, we have a herd of almost 40 alpacas that we care for.
40? So oh my gosh.
40. Yeah. All different colors. And they're all named. That's awesome. That's one of the fun things that people like about our fiber when we sell it to people that spin their own yarn and things. We process in small batches so we can identify the fiber with the animal in most cases.
Very cool. Good morning, Melissa. Good morning, Christy. All right, Kathy, we have our first question. She wants to know, do you know Dr. Pohl?
Yep. I know Dr. Pohl. He's not our vet. We're close enough to Michigan State University in Lansing that we drive our alpacas in our minivan to Michigan State if they need veterinary care. We've been in alpacas for over 10 years now. So most of the things we do ourselves, shots, herd health, that type of thing. If blood has to be drawn, or if in the case that we have had veterinary care needed, then like I said, we load them up in our minivan and drive them off to Michigan State.
I bet that's interesting, trying to get an alpaca in a minivan.
Well, we've trained them. Yeah, and we have a stow and go seating, one of the town and country minivans. So we just put a tarp in the back and some straw, and they hop in, hop out. So when we wanted to go by the town and country, and I'm measuring the back end with my tape measure, and the salesman says, "What are you measuring for?" He had a funny look on his face when I said I wanted to make sure my alpaca would fit in it.
All right. Melissa wants to know, she says, I crochet. How much is alpaca yarn?
We sell our yarn for $28 a skein, and the skeins are 200 yards. They can be found on our website, clearskyfiberarts.com. And we're always adding more things to the website as certain batches of yarn go out because they're sold out, then we add new. So
very cool. Yeah. Stephanie Standstill says, I want to see it live in the minivan.
There you go. we'll try that in the future. People wonder what it is when I'm driving down the road, because we purchased a female alpaca from a farm near Lake Placid, New York, which is like 15 hours away from us. So I went and picked her and her baby that she had by her side up and drove them back home. So when I had to stop in the rest areas and people looked in the window, they weren't too sure what that was.
Like, that's a very large dog.
Yes, that's what they thought a lot of times.
Thank you, Leanne, for posting Kathy's link. Y'all, if you haven't already, please go over and check out her, Kathy's link with the Clear Sky Fiber Arts. That is her website, and you can buy all of her fiber products there. Kathy, is the Sponsor an Alpaca program on there as well?
Yes, it is. Yep.
And what does that entail?
It's a new program that we just started over Thanksgiving weekend, and it's a downloadable PDF file. Basically, we started it so people could support the alpacas. They eat hay all year round, and hay's expensive. So by sponsoring an alpaca each month, you're helping to maintain that alpaca. You're supporting our veteran-owned farm and our small business. And every month, I'm featuring a different alpaca from our farm. So in that PDF downloadable file, you're getting information and the life story about a particular alpaca, which you won't know until you get it downloaded. It's kind of a mystery.
Oh.
And so there's pictures about the alpaca. You know, a lot of times I'm telling you, you know, where they were born, most of them born here on our farm. So you get a lot of pictures, you learn all about that particular alpaca. And then I also include a special fact that I go into detail about. And I don't want to give away anything, any surprises for the people, but it might be, oh, what's the difference between a llama and alpaca? We might talk about shearing the alpaca, but it's a few pages that I really talk about a particular alpaca fact. So at the end of a year, you're going to know a lot about alpacas.
Very
and I also include activities, activity sheets for young and old, a little bit about what the farm's currently doing, lots of pictures, and always a coupon. So it's a nice program for people. It's entertaining. Those that have already sponsored and signed up to be part of our sponsorship family, they have given me feedback that they're really enjoying it. So
very cool.
It's only $15 a month, or if you want to sign up for a year, it's $150 a year. So we're excited about it.
And y'all, that's actually a really great price. And like Kathy said, you're helping sponsor the alpaca, you're keeping them warm, keeping them fed, and you're learning something at the same time. This is a great gift for any of those nature lovers, any of your growing children that love animals. So just think about it, y'all.
And Valentine's Day is coming up, so it's a different type of Valentine's present.
There you go. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started.
Okay.
And we actually coordinated today, y'all. So we are both doing cat themed projects because Kathy is launching a new product. So Kathy, what are you launching?
I'm going to be launching soon a product called my cat mat. And what it is, let me switch my cameras here. And let me bring up, there is my cat laying on the mat. And what it is, it's a woven mat. I'm going to be weaving today. And it's made out of alpaca yarn. And this is called core spun yarn. So rugs are made out of this. I use this core spun for my plant hangers and all sorts of different things. But I like to weave the cat mats out of it because it's thicker. This is regular yarn. And you can see, if I grab one strand of the regular yarn, you can see the difference, how much thicker the core spun is than the regular alpaca yarn. And being made out of alpaca, I love it because you can take it inside or outside. The weather won't hurt it, just like the regular alpacas are outside. So that's what I'm going to be doing, is weaving cat mats. And I'm going to be launching them this first quarter of the year as soon as I get my inventory built up. And each one's going to be unique and different because with the way the core spun is made at the mill, it will spin the fiber differently. So if I'm using a black fiber, it could be a lighter black or a darker black as we go through. This particular creamy color that I'm using, we've added some little blues to it. You can see throughout to kind of dress it up a little bit. So everyone's going to be different. They're going to be washable because after I weave these, then I wash them and dry them. So it felts them a little bit. and makes them a little fuzzy and things. So you can continue to wash them afterwards, and they just shrink a little bit. No big deal. And the cats love them. So that's what my cat mats are all about.
Melissa wants to know, so are they right outside your window? Can we see a quick picture of the alpacas?
Let me see if I can get, let me see. I don't know if you can see them because I can't zoom. I think it's too bright with the snow.
Yeah, it's too bright.
Yeah.
But they are right outside your window though.
They are. Outside our back door here is our deck. Our deck goes across the whole back of the house. And then we have a little backyard and then the pasture. If you, we just launched a YouTube channel, Clear Sky Fiber Arts again. And if you go to the YouTube channel, I've uploaded videos of like the girls mowing the backyard where I'm standing on the deck and I'm videoing the girls right below me. So that might be a fun thing for you to go check out too.
Leanne says, this is awesome. Would small pups also like that?
Yes. Yes, indeed.
And Melissa says, I'm coming over. I want to learn.
Would love to have you. We do farm tours by appointment. So if you guys are in Michigan, in the area, and ever want to come and see the alpacas, just give me a call and we will set you up to do that. The way I'm weaving this, this is I don't know if I showed you the whole loom. This is a square loom, you can see, with nails in it. I'm a weaver. And I'm just learning to spin my own yarn, but I'm a weaver. And so I have looms throughout my house. And this particular loom, it's a square loom, it's a portable loom. And the method that I'm using is called continuous strand weaving. So you can see in this corner, I'm bringing the yarn up and I'm using my fingers to manipulate it and weave over, under, over, under. And I'm going from one nail. And I want to make sure that I continue to go over, under. And I'm pulling this across this strand. And I'm getting it to the other nail. You can see I just put it on that nail. And then I'm bringing it down. Let me move my camera to the other end. And here it's already woven. So I'm just packing it in. And once I finish this and get all the nails, I can just pull it off and it'll stay together. So this is a method that a lot of weavers like to use. I have a triangle, several triangle looms that I do continuous strand weaving on. And on those, that's what I use for my shawls that I make.
So Kathy, Melissa wants to know, do you dye the different colors or just add regular yarn?
No, I also hand dye the alpaca. The alpaca takes the dyes really nice. And half of our herd is white, just so I can dye it. Just so I can dye it.
She also says, so like a basket weave.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Exactly.
So did you add the blue into that fiber?
Yes. The blue I hand dyed. And then at the mill I use Windy Acre Fiber Mill up in Wolverine, Michigan. It's up by our Mackinac Bridge. And the owner, Charlotte Ravenko, she's also a veteran and a good friend of ours that also owns alpacas. And her husband, Keith, run the mill up there. And so she processes a lot of my fiber for me because, you know, there's just so many hours in a day. And I can't do everything. So I have to farm some things out. And so she's got the core spinning machine that she makes this yarn for me. And in the process of making the yarn, she takes the extra alpaca that I've dyed and adds it. And what the machine does is wrap the, you can see right here, it wraps the dyed fiber around the other core spun to add this little pop of color.
Very cool. Yo, this hair is driving me nuts. I'm going to have to cut this thing off like this month. So I need a haircut, y'all. All right. So what else do you have coming up, Kathy?
I have a waffle live sale that I've been accepted to at the end of January.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be on at 10 o'clock Eastern time on the 31st of January, and that's a live sale. So I enjoy that. I'll be having some new fiber available. We just launched the YouTube channel, like I was saying, and I'm excited about that. So I'm uploading more videos. And in the wintertime, it's just, you know, trudging through the snow and the ice to make sure the alpacas are fed and watered.
Mm-hmm.
We have a flock of egg-laying chickens. I can't do meat birds, so I mean, I eat chicken, but not the ones that I raise because I can't raise them like that. So people that know me know that I have a huge love of animals. So the chickens wait for Rick to get them a path to the barn back and forth. And yep.
And Rick is your husband?
Yes. Yep. Let me pull this close up to make sure I did. Yep. So we work together on things, and he's kind of the behind the scenes person. And I'm the in front of the scenes person.
That's kind of like me and my sister. I'm the in front of the scenes person, behind the scenes.
Exactly.
So she's the voice behind the camera. However, she had to work late last night, so she's sleeping currently. So.
Yep.
So I'm just going back and forth, y'all, with my black and white mesh. So this is just 10-inch mesh that I cut at 20 inches, and we're just doing the woodland ruffle method. Y'all, I need to change cameras so y'all can actually see what I'm doing here, because y'all can't see what I'm doing. There we go. So I'm just going back and forth with my black and white. That's okay, Cynthia. Kathy, she got lost in TikTok land. So I've been doing the same thing here recently. Darn you, Serena. She got me addicted to TikTok.
I haven't gone on that yet. That's on the list of to-dos along with Instagram.
Cynthia, we are doing cat-themed projects. So Kathy is weaving her brand new cat mat. I'm making a cat-themed mesh wreath.
And I'm just double checking to make sure that I didn't miss anything, and then I'll put it back onto the mat for you guys.
So, yes. All right. Now, Kathy, for all of those animal lovers out there, tell us, why do you have to shear the alpaca?
Well, that's a very, very good question. So let me share with you a couple pictures, and it will explain why we have to share them. Let me change the camera back. Okay, here's a couple pictures of our alpacas. The one on the left is Spencer, and see how he is kind of naked looking. That was right after shearing. And then the one on the right is Desi, and see how she's all puffy with all that fur on her. Well, the reason why we have to shear is you don't want to wear a winter coat all summer in 80-degree, 90-degree weather. So it's inhumane to leave that fiber on an alpaca. You have to get that fiber off every year. And depending on where you live in the United States, will determine when you need to shear. So like we typically shear our alpacas in May because we still have cold weather in April. We have coats that we can put on them if they get cold. And yep, it's kind of like a dog coat. But by May, it's usually pretty stable weather. If April gets hot, we hose them down or put a fan in the barn for them. And so then because of the numbers we've had, we've been up to 63 alpacas in the past. And although Rick has training to properly shear an alpaca, again, that's just another feature that we hire out. So we have a crew that comes in once a year, and we have helpers that come. Some of my friends come and help bag the fiber. And in one day, we can shear all the alpacas. And they're a lot happier without that heavy coat on. And by this time of year, they're looking fluffy again. So they go through the summer all nice and comfy. And come wintertime, you don't have to worry because they've got their coats back on. And like right now, the girls and the boys are all outside eating their hay. And they actually, in the wintertime, like to be outside more than they like to be inside. They love the snow. They don't like the heat so much. So in the summertime, you'll find them inside the barn in front of the fans. So, yep, that's why we have to shear them. And it's done, people think that you're hurting the alpacas when you're shearing them. And that's not the case at all. I won't let anybody come on the farm that's gonna intentionally hurt the animals. So the crew that we use is very, very gentle with all the animals. The way an alpaca is shorn, it's different than a sheep. A sheep, you kind of sit it on its butt and just shear it with special shearing tools. With an alpaca, we actually lay them down on their side, and their legs get stretched out gently. They do have ropes, gentle ropes tied around their ankles. And this is for their safety and the safety of the shearers, because we don't want anybody kicking. And the alpacas are all used to it. You know, they come in the barn and the shearers lay them down gently, and they're all used to it. And so, and it only takes 3 minutes or less for the shearer to get it done, because that's all they do. They go around the country shearing alpacas. So the alpaca is not down long at all, which is good. And then let me show you. I have a bag here. Let me bring this bag up here a minute. Let me move the loom and put the bag up here. Once they're shorn, let me untie the bag. We have raw fiber. All right, let me move the camera a little bit. All right, this is a bag of raw fiber that's off the animal. And you can see the nice crimpiness. It's very, very soft. People just like to really just get their hands and squish it because it's alpaca fiber is just so soft. This has been clipped off of the alpaca and in its blanket area. And we use different fiber from the different areas in different ways. The blanket that this is what's used for next to the skin softness yarn. Other people like to spin this into their own yarn. And that's basically what the blanket's for. Anything next to the skin soft. We assess each of our animals, and not everybody gets to have regular yarn made. If they're an older animal, sometimes their fleece gets a little more harsh. Excuse me. So we'll send those for socks or for felt. So once we have the fiber off, then this is raw. So this means it hasn't been washed. It's just off the animal. Then it gets washed. Sometimes it gets processed. This has gone to the mill. Let me see if I can get that under the, here we go. This has gone to the mill and it's been made into what's called roving. And this is what people that do their own spinning into yarn, this is what they like to use. And they'll take this and they'll draft it out. Drafting is called pulling it out thin. And they'll spin it on a spinning wheel, drop spindle, something like that. And they'll make their own yarn. This is some yarn, just a little sample of yarn that was made. So this has been washed and processed, the first step at the mill.
All right, Kathy, we have several questions popping in here.
Okay.
About how long is the lifespan of an alpaca?
They can live up to 18 to 20 years.
Okay.
And it takes them 11 and a half months for a baby to be born.
Melissa asks, so is your hubby out working on your farm now? Is it an all-day job?
No, actually, Rick is here in the house keeping the dogs quiet.
Cynthia wants to know, where are the alpacas originally from?
The alpacas here in the United States originally came from South America, of the countries of Peru, Bolivia, and Chile. Okay. And they were imported here in the United States. And now the importation has been closed for a long time now. So basically the ones that are here are United States domesticated. Here we are. And it's interesting because to register an alpaca with our American National Association, they are registered via DNA. So you have to prove the parentage. So we do keep really close records when we breed them. And then there's a special little card we have to use, and we have to put a little blood sample on the card that's goes to the lab to make sure that who you're telling the registered, the registration organization, who you're telling the parents are, they better be the right parents. And then once that's established, then you get a really nice certificate, kind of a certificate of authenticity.
Melissa wants to know, do you have to wash it? Is there like any kind of bugs?
Bugs in the fiber?
Yeah.
No, when it comes off the alpaca, no, there's no bugs in the fiber. Yes, we typically wash it, but alpaca fiber is really easy to wash because it doesn't have the lanolin in it like sheep's wool does. Mm-hmm. So it just has dirt because the alpacas like to roll in the dirt in the summertime. So it's wash it once, rinse it a lot.
Gotcha. Melissa wants to know, do you sell the looms as well as the yarn?
No, we have not had time to make the looms. The loom I'm using, though, I purchased from Charlotte up at Windy Acres Fiber Mill. So her and her husband make the square looms. They also make inkle looms. That's a different method of weaving. So check out and contact her at Windy Acres Fiber Mill, or PM me and I can get you in touch.
Magda says, I wish I would have had access to alpaca fiber 30 years ago. Melissa says, do you breed them every year?
We were breeding every year. And then 3 years ago, I ended up having to have back-to-back hip replacements.
Oh, ow.
So, and I should never have had them so close together, but I had them 12 weeks apart. So I was laid up for quite a bit of time in recovery. Recovery is different when you live on a farm versus in the city. So like my surgeon required me to use my walker when I went outside in the pasture for like 6 months because he didn't want the alpacas bumping me or falling in a hole. So we have pictures of me with the walker going out and opening up gates to move them from pasture to pasture so I could prove to my doctor I was being a good girl. And yeah, during that time, I couldn't get downstairs to my fiber studio. Mm-hmm. So I started making my key rings. And some people use these for project bag tags. Mm-hmm. But that's one of my cats. This is the sewing machine I do. I do a lot of, again, fiber themes, like I do the designs of different looms and knitting and crocheting. And then I do animals, like I have a love of cats and dogs. So I have a lot of cats, a lot of paw prints, things like that. And those are on my website. And so I'm starting a design of a giraffe with glasses because it's cute and I like giraffes and I like animals. And then, yeah, so I started doing that as I was recovering.
Kathy, Melissa wants the website for the looms and the yarn. So the yarn she can get on your website at Clear Sky Fiber Arts, right?
Correct.
And the looms, does your friend have a website?
Charlie does not yet have a website, but she has a Facebook page.
She has a Facebook page.
Yeah, she has a Facebook page. And I'm not sure if the looms are on that yet or not. So she, but you can PM her and she can give you that information. She's also going to be on the WAFA sale. Her time, she's going to be on the 30th on Saturday. And I think her time is going to be like 1:30 in the afternoon. But yeah, if you PM me, I can get you in touch with Charlie.
So Melissa, just send Kathy a private message and then she can get you the details.
Mm-hmm. And if you like this kind of a loom with the core spun yarn, get a hold of me on the core spun yarn. I have a little bit on the website right now, but what I just got back from the mill, I didn't get pictures taken yet. So, and I have more coming yet. So, yep. So just private message me. We can get you hooked up with everything. But I love these.
The green face is coming along, y'all. If y'all can see that.
Oh, I like that, man.
And I don't think I showed y'all my sign yet. This is our sign for today. This is catnip wishes and sandpaper kisses.
So cute.
And this sign comes from Three Birds Nest and Company on Etsy.
Matt, didn't you tell me earlier in the week that this was a special cat day?
Yes. So this is it's a national. So you know how like there's just random holidays, like there's like Margarita Day and all that. So today is, oh, how did they word it? Let me see. Let me see if my phone's going to cooperate with me here. It's like a shoot, what did I call it?
Uh-oh. Rewind, I didn't mention it.
Oh, it's Happy New Year for Cats Day.
Woohoo!
That's what it is. So it's just kind of like, you know how like there's a national holiday for everything these days? So it's kind of like one of those not very well known holidays like Margarita Day or Taco Day or, National Sock Day, or that's what it's Happy New Year's Day for cats. So it just kind of fell right in perfect with our cat themed projects.
Yes, it did.
So, all right. Oh, Cappy, hydrate.
Oh, I think I went off on a tangent too about the babies and about us breeding. So we did used to breed every year. And then when I had my hip replacements, we have not bred since. We were going to breed this year starting in the spring, but Rick had to have a heart intervention. So that kind of put us behind. So the plan is to start breeding this next spring in 2021. So we're excited about that. I have a male alpaca that's called, he's an Appaloosa, so he's spotted. Mm-hmm. And we brought him up from Georgia just to be in our breeding program. So we got to get him going.
So you drove the minivan to Georgia?
We had him transported up. There's special people that transport alpacas around the country. And we purchased him and his mom, and then Cupcake and Reba. And so the four of them came together from a farm down in Georgia. And here we are. When we purchase alpacas instead of making our own, it's because we want to bring in either a specific genetic line for genetic diversity, or specific coloration that we might not have, or a specific genetic line that I'm knowledgeable about and that I like what that line is producing and want to add it to our herd.
Leanne says you can't be catty on New Year's Day. That's funny. I have to say, I love our friends.
So what do y'all think about the weaving? Is it interesting? Like it. Did I pick the right project?
Yeah. So how long does it take to make one of those?
Well, let's see. I'm approaching the center. Probably maybe a couple hours from start to finish as far as the weaving goes. And then I have to wash it and things. So, yeah. 2 to 3 hours. fun.
So Kathy,
Mm-hmm.
do you make everything to order, or do you have kind of like a stock of it whenever you post it on your website?
Some things I have stocked. It varies depending on the item. And of course, in the past, I always had an inventory because I was out doing in-person live shows.
Uh-huh.
And of course, in 2020, there were no in-person
Live
shows.
shows.
So I decided, well, I don't need to have a bunch of inventory. I can more customize things for people and just do things as the need arises. So let me show you here. One of the popular products, and I've just stitched this one up. One of the popular products that I do is my little felted kitties. And some of you have heard me talk about these. I still have to stitch up his little bottom here. But this is alpaca felt. Again, up at the mill, the alpacas that have fiber that's not really next to the skin soft, making them into big felt craft sheets. And the sheets are like 30 by 42 inches.
Mm-hmm.
That's another use. We use all of the fiber for one thing or another. And so the mill will make my craft sheets, and then I cut the felt up into smaller pieces. And so one of my lines is an animal line. This is my my felted kitty, and then I embroider, in the tail and the little ears. And can you see the little nose, the little heart on its nose?
Aww.
So happy kitty day, mew mew. And then I also do bunnies. Here's a little bunny. And I also do like little dinosaurs.
Those are cute.
Aren't they cute? So I do a variety of little animals like this. And right now I do have some kitties in stock because they're so popular. But because I'm not stocking them, I can customize them for people. So like they can tell me, yeah, what color would you like your tail and your little ears and nose to be? And so people are liking that. And like on the bunny, I can do different color ears.
Mm-hmm.
And the spots on the dinosaur. And the other nice thing is the felt, it's all natural colored felt. We're not dyeing the felt. So I have white and I have brown and I have tan and I have gray and I have black. So I have a lot of colors of felt that I can use too.
And all these are available on the website?
Yep. The dinosaur isn't up yet because he's new for me. But yep. And then at the holidays, this is a little gift card holder.
Oh, that's cute.
Isn't that cute? So I try to do a lot of things out of the felt too. So that's a lot of fun for me.
Leanne asks, could those be great toys for kitties?
They could, yep.
So
yeah. I can't leave mine. Well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Could you add like a squeaker in there to make it like a squeaky toy?
Uh-huh, I could. Or a bell, yeah.
I know like with dogs, they like the squeaky toys, so.
Right. I don't know that I would use it for a dog. Kitties are different. In fact, I can't even, when I stitch these, I have to put them in a box because if I leave them sitting out on my sewing table, they're gone. Because the cats are running off with them. And those aren't even, they don't have catnip or anything. They just for some reason love the fiber. So it's like, okay.
Melissa says, put some catnip in there. They will love it.
Yes, exactly. I'm waiting for Chessie to get down off of the mat, my finished mat, so I can show you the whole finished mat, but she's just sitting up there. You know, cats never want to cooperate when you want them to.
Oh, no.
Yeah, one of my favorite things to make out of this particular core spun yarn are my plant hangers. And those are on my website too, but they're hard to photograph. They've been very popular at the in-person shows. And I customize those too, as far as like length, if somebody needs a plant hanger a certain length. And they're actually like a lot of macrame knots and special things like that. So I enjoy making those. So a lot of versatility in alpaca. Dryer balls. Some of you have heard about my dryer balls. That's the, I use the belly and the leg fiber for those. And then that's a wet felted process. So a different process than weaving.
You got your dryer balls, and then you have your, what we have lovingly dubbed your hairy balls.
I wasn't going to bring that up. That's my Feathered Friends bird nesting bird liner
and that,
balls.
It's a grapevine ball packed with a pack of fiber that you hang on your tree, y'all, and then the birds will take pieces of it to line their nests with. Right?
Yes, exactly. You've got it. And they really, they love it. And it's good all year round because, of course, after they have their babies, like here in the wintertime, now the poor birds, they can't get anything to, you know, keep lining their nests. So it's nice to have those balls hanging outside so that they can come and grab that fiber. And I only use the natural. I don't put any of the dyed fiber in there. Number one, I experimented in the beginning 10 years ago. Those balls were my first product that I started making when we got into alpacas. And I experimented by putting dyed fiber in there, and the birds didn't like it. So I only use the natural fiber with the grapevine ball, and they're refillable, so they're a sustainable product, which I like. It's gentle on the earth. And we provide free refills. I just ask my customers to help with the shipping. And fiber is very light, so it's like, okay. So okay, I can't read the comments, but you can, Matt. I'm curious, do you guys that are watching today, do you know that there's actually two kinds of alpacas?
I didn't know that.
Yes, there's actually two kinds of alpacas.
You mean besides the normal male and female?
No, there's two varieties, like Doxy dogs that have the wired hair and the long hair and the short hair. In alpacas, there is one kind called Wakayas, and those are the fuzzy teddy bear ones. That's what we have right now. And the other variety is called Surrey. And the Surreys, they have dreadlocks. So their fiber splits on the middle of their back and drapes down their side in like little dreadlocks. And the fiber is totally different on both of the varieties. When we started, we had both, but we found the Surreys to be a little bit more high strung than what we wanted to deal with. So we sold our Surreys and just decided to stay with the Wakayas because they're cute little teddy bear like. And a lot of people.
With my base here, y'all. Almost. So.
Ooh, I like that sparkly. That's really pretty, Matt.
We have one more tie to go.
Very pretty.
Good. So I want to take a poll with our guests here. How many of you are enjoying these Saturday lives with the
Me.
different designers? Is there anything that y'all want to see? Anything you want to learn more about? Sound off in the comments, y'all. I'm trying to give y'all different designers every Saturday. So and different types of designers. So far we've had Serena, who owned her own paint company. We had Mr. Jim Davis, he was a wreather. We had Debbie Viola, she's an artist. Now we have Miss Kathy, she's a fiber artist. Next weekend, we have, who's up next? I think next weekend is Miss Magda Fox. She makes headbands.
Oh, yes, beautiful ones.
And then we have, let me pull up the schedule, our very own Miss Leanne Maracchio with Sparkled at Heart.
Woohoo!
So she's a wreather. And then we have Jacqueline Ibanez with Bubbles, Fizz, and Foam. So she makes bath products. And then we have Miss Jan Brown Cook to round off January. She is a wreather as well. And then coming up next month, let me find February here. We have Miss Michelle Raza Redding with Monkeys Creations. Miss Regina White with Always Created for You. Miss Regina Sellers from Pro Bow the Hand. So she makes bows. And then Miss Michelle Stone from Wilds Creek and Company. And they make the, Miss Kathy, I don't know if do you know Michelle Stone?
No.
So her and her husband make wooden rails that you can attach to signs, and then you can add mesh and bows to and make like a door hanger out of.
Oh, wow.
I believe they laser cut them, or he hand cuts them, and then she hand paints them.
Wow.
So I'm trying to give y'all diversity in our lives, and hopefully I'm succeeding in that.
I've enjoyed every Saturday so far.
And then in March, we have a few other people. And then April, let me pull up the March schedule here. So we have every Saturday booked, y'all, clear up through the end of May. And Miss Kathy is actually joining us on May 29th. So she's actually going to be out in the pastures with the alpacas. And we scheduled it for May. That way it's warm and she can actually get out there. So let's see, who's in March? March, we start out with Miss Chris Hunter. And she actually has 3 separate businesses, y'all. She has the Velvet Alley Boutique, Keto with Chris, and Creating with Chris Hunter. And then we have Miss Terry Burton Buchanan from the Robin's Nest. She's going to be painting, y'all. And then we have Tammy Pangelina from Tammy's Art Creations and Kimberly Sminky from Lolly Doodle Studios. And then in April, we have, Miss Carolyn Delisle from Known as Nutty Crafts, Miss Lavon Bell from Forever Dreams of You, Miss Cynthia Syandra from Nature Art for Animal Rescue. And then rounding out April, we have Miss Royce Hunt Bell from Roy Cycled Treasures. Y'all, she does amazing things with decoupage. And then in May, we have Miss Karen Boysonet Frazier from Front Door Floral, Stacy Van Gundy from Stacy's Designs, Brenda Portier Mullard from Art on Creekside, Lisa Siriati from Momster Creative, and then we're back with Miss Kathy on the 29th with Clear Sky Fiber Arts. And that's the schedule so far, y'all.
Woohoo!
It's fully packed. I'm super excited about it.
Well, it's wonderful of you, Matt, to provide this avenue for us crafters to be able to share our arts with your guests.
I'm super excited. All right, so Miss Regina White, she's actually going to be one of our designers as well. So it says, I'm really enjoying getting to know each designer in detail. So interesting. Miss Sharon Malarkey says, I am. Love to learn what everyone does. Leanne says, it's fun to see all different types of creativity. Brigitte is enjoying the amazing and love the facts on alpacas. So everybody seems to be thoroughly enjoying it. That's my issue, y'all. I'm my own biggest critic, but I think we all are.
Mm-hmm.
So I worry about whether y'all enjoy what we're doing, even though I really shouldn't, but I should, but I don't, but I do, you know? So, yeah. But I am my own biggest critic when it comes to things like this and my projects, you know? I always worry, are they going to like it? Am I doing enough, you know? But so far, everything's been positive, knock on wood. You know? And everybody seems to be enjoying themselves. So that's all I really care about, you know?
Right, right.
That mat is looking great, Miss Kathy.
Thank you.
So I'm going in and adding my tails now, y'all. And my tails are cut at 10 inches. And I'm using this adorable little black and white paw print and this like natural and black stripe. And I'm just kind of alternating them as I'm going around, y'all, as far as the pattern. So I'm doing the paw prints on one on top and then the stripes on top on the other. And that's what I'm doing just around the base. And I want to keep the top kind of clear. I'm just doing the tails around the edge because that's where my sign and my cats and my little yarn balls are going.
Those paw prints are beautiful. So cute.
Where did that one go?
There's Chessie still sleeping on the mat.
So I got the paw prints from Trims on Etsy. That's their website, y'all. People focus there. Trims. And it's just a 1.5 inch by 10 yard roll. I love my ribbon, y'all. If anybody knows me, I am a ribbon hoarder. All right, let's catch up on some comments here. Leanne, thanks. She says it's really a great thing you're doing for the entire craft world, not just one section of it. Stephanie Stansell has an alpaca question.
Okay.
Do they get along with cattle? How can I convince my dad he needs them on his cattle farm? Also have to add that as a kid, we went through the McDonald's drive-through with the sheep in the back of the station wagon. Fun memories.
I love the sheep in the back of the station wagon. Oh, yes. I can't give you the answer to if they like cattle. Our neighbors have horses, so they are at the fence with the horses. And that's been fine. We have the chickens, and the chickens go right out in the pasture. So they deal with the chickens just fine. I also have Papillon dogs. Those are the little lap sitters with the butterfly ears. Now the Papillons, because of their small size, we don't let them run around outside among the alpacas. But the dogs have their own large kenneled play area. And so the big boys, my Appaloosa S2 and his group, they like to come up and to the fence and watch the dogs play. And they'll get down with their noses and sniff the dogs. A lot of people with sheep also have alpaca. A lot of people with goats have alpacas. We just chose to have the alpacas.
So the answer would be probably?
Probably, yeah. I would not put them together in the same pasture because a lot of the cows could potentially do harm to the alpacas maybe. But in a pasture next to them, so they're on the same fence, along the same fence. And alpacas are like potato chips. You just can't have one. For their well-being, they are a herd animal, so they need to have a buddy. And we always suggest having groups of 3 or more. Just because then if they're a group of 3, then you don't have one saying, well, hey, I'm the big boss and I'm going to beat you up all the time. And you have to keep the boys separate from the girls. So.
Well, that's kind of the same with like any animal, right?
Yes, yes.
You really kind of got to keep the boys away from the girls, otherwise you might end up with a little problem on your hands that you might not be prepared for.
Yeah, a friend of ours that lives out in New York, that they're in the area where they got like the 41 inches of snow. They had a oopsie breeding apparently because they just had a baby born, and they don't typically breed for winter babies. So it's like, oops. Yeah, oops, yep, oops. I love this kind of weaving. I mean, you don't necessarily have to make a cat mat. You can do all sorts of things. This, my intention is to have this be a cat mat, but this could also be like the centerpiece on your table, and things like that. So versatile, very versatile.
It could be any kind of mat, right?
Yep. Yep.
And those are washable, right?
Yep. They're going to shrink a little bit. But you can kind of see that there's an openness to the weave. And when I wash it, it shrinks up and compacts more. So that openness goes away. You don't have to wash them. But I did want to felt it up a little bit if I was going to use it with the cats. And they just, they just like to lay on it. They don't sit there and knead it, like I have the cardboard thing, that the cats will claw, and they've got cat trees throughout the house. that they claw on, but they don't seem to claw the mat. They just get up on it and lay on it. So
Maybe it's because it's soft and not
yeah,
hard.
yeah.
I think I need one more of each. If I can find another roll.
Now, how do you decide, Matt, like today you're doing the black and white with the paw print. How did you decide to do it in a black and white like that? Did you base it like on your ribbon, or how did you decide your colors?
I typically go from the bottom up. So I choose my mesh first.
Okay.
Then I choose my coordinating ribbon.
Okay.
Or sometimes I'll go based around the sign. So the sign's black and white with some little orange in it. And I have black and white and orange cats go in it.
Okay.
So, but I didn't want to do like black, white, and orange in the base because then that would kind of be like too much. So, and then I have the different color little yarn balls that I'm going to pop in. So,
okay, cool.
Now with florals, that's different. With florals, I typically just go to the store, start grabbing and bunch them together into like a bouquet. And
Okay.
say, oh, this looks really good together, you know? Or if it's like we did with me and Debbie, we coordinated our projects. So she showed me the picture of her lady, which had the olive green, the burgundy, and the cream. So that kind of inspired my my color palette for my wreath that I did. But I honestly prefer florals over mesh.
Okay.
But it's kind of, I mean, they both have their pros and cons. With mesh, you have to learn early that you are not the boss of the mesh. The mesh is the boss of you. It does what it wants to do. And the sooner you learn that, the more you'll be able to use it.
Okay.
So, Kathy, Stacy has a question. She says, how would they be for a dog mat for my Aussie Doodle?
They would be great for dog or cat.
I wonder where I heard that, Leanne. Could be from my really good friend from the wreath world. She sparkles a lot. Y'all, let me tell you. So Leanne is probably one of my really, really, really good friends in the crafting world. Okay. So whenever I'm freaking out, I call her and she calms me down. And she is probably one of the nicest, coolest people you will ever have in your circle. And I mean, she has done so much, y'all, that people just don't understand. You know,
she is a great sprinkler.
She is, and she is everybody's cheerleader. You know, she always encourages you, and I mean, she might not give you the answer that you want, but she'll make you think about what you actually need.
Right.
So she is amazing, y'all. All right, tails are in. This is what we're looking like.
Woohoo!
So now I'm going to grab my crummy and we're just going to vacuum up all this little fiber here. I love this thing. And then we're going to go ahead and attach our sign, y'all. Let me see if I can find my needle here. Maybe.
And I'm fixing, I got to here, let's see. Let me show you here. Okay. I'm getting near the end and you can see one side had just a couple nails and the other side had several nails. So I knew that I did something wrong, like skipping a nail. So right here, I skipped a nail, so I'm fixing it in a minute. So that's why the camera is now off of that so that I can sit it upwards and move. I'm just using my crochet hook and I'm moving the yarn from one nail over to the next. You can't really wreck these things. It's, you know, it's just a real easy craft and fun. So is the sign going to be near the end that you attach, or are the yarn balls going to be near the end that you attach?
The yarn balls are going to be the end.
Okay.
So I'm putting the sign on so I can get my cats in and then my yarn balls.
Cool.
Around them.
Cool.
Come on. And see, this is where the mesh is the boss. You know, trying to get your Chanel stems down through it. I typically have a plastic darning needle that I got from Walmart for like $2, y'all. And it goes through this like butter, you know, but I don't know where my needle is at the moment.
Uh-oh.
So I'm having to do this the hard way.
Now you're sounding like me. I couldn't find my long crochet hook with the big hook on it. So that's why I'm finger weaving it. There we go. All fixed.
Sherry, I have been making wreaths officially since last March. I started right when COVID hit. So it'll be a year in March. Oh my gosh, it'll be a year in March, y'all.
Woohoo!
How time flies. But we actually started out using Dollar Tree mesh, y'all, and we all know how much fun that is. I don't recommend it. And the way we were doing them, or the method we were using, I might say, used to take us like a couple days to do a wreath. You know, because they don't sell like 10-inch mesh, they only sell like 6-inch. So the method we were using used to take us a couple days to make one wreath. And now I can turn these out in like 45 minutes. So thank you, Lord, for the woodland ruffle method. And as I always say, on my channel. There are two things we don't like on this channel, and that is saggy signs and saggy bows. Because once this is hanging on a door, gravity hits. So you want to make sure that this is secured really well. And you want to use at least 2 bars of your wire frame, y'all, to secure your wreath, to secure any attachments to. You want to make sure you want to go around at least 2 bars to keep gravity from taking over.
Well, that's good to know.
So, and so we've got some big things coming up here on our channel. So my sister has decided that she, and for those of you that don't know, my sister is my business partner. So she's decided that she wants to get into doing resin work. So look forward to that coming up, y'all. And I'm still trying to get her talked into doing a live, which is a work in progress, y'all. So yeah. So Miss Kathy, how did you get started in doing lives?
When COVID hit, and I was booked every weekend in 2020. In 2019, I did hot and heavy in the fall, and I decided, okay, I'm going to try to schedule every weekend in 2020, and I'm selective over where I go because I want to be inside, not outside and things.
Well, right, because you need the air conditioning.
Right, and then COVID hit, and every one of my shows canceled.
Every single one?
Every single one. I usually don't do anything traveling in January and February because the weather is so unpredictable. Like last night we had ice. And so it's like, I'm not leaving the farm today because the roads are covered. I mean, I'm in the country.
Right.
I am in the far country. So when the weather's bad, we don't leave. We just stay home. We're old. We can do that. And so I had no choice. And so April, you know how they talk about doors closing and windows open, or windows close and doors open? Ellen, who's with Serena, she started WAFA, Woolen Fiber Arts, and gave us the opportunity to do live sales starting in April, once a month. And so that's how I got started in the live sales.
Cool.
That is absolutely gorgeous.
What?
Your wreath?
Oh, it's not done yet, y'all.
I love it. I love it.
So let me get you the bigger picture here so you can see it. There you go. So far.
Ooh.
So far. I need to find my needle, y'all. Because trying to force wire through mesh, that is not fun. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it went.
Oh,
That's not good. Look here
no, I'm getting near the end.
Yeah, I don't know. All right. Well, grab my wire, y'all. And we're gonna wire our cats in here.
Woohoo.
And so the funny part about these, I actually picked these up from Michael's last year, y'all. And these are actually made to sit on the side of flower pots.
Ooh.
So yeah, flower pots. So we're just going to go in and we are going to wire these in here. And this is 24 gauge wire, y'all. 22 gauge, I'm not quite sure. It's one of the two. Two. As my wire gets all caught up here. Hey, Donna. Then it would look good with penguins. Yes, it would. So, Miss Kathy, Melissa wants to know, how do you end off and start your yarn on a loom?
Okay, on this particular loom that I'm using, it's continuous weave. And right here in this first corner, let me turn the loom around so you can see this tail right here. I start with a slip knot. So this is, and I have a tail that I can weave in at the end. So I started with a slip knot, looped it around the two corner nails, and then started weaving over under. And as you can see, with it being the continuous weave, this one was going from the outside corners and it's working its way in. So I'm almost done and I'm just packing my yarn so I can get the next row in here. This is when it gets a little tight. And what I'll be able to do when I'm completely done is just pull this right off the nails and it'll be all together. I'm not going to have to do anything to the edges because using this type of weaving, it finishes as you go. So we're just making sure.
You know, I am just adding, so right here where the paws meet, it's connected. So I'm just taking my wire and I'm going right through that. And I'm getting it as tight as I can. So that's how I'm going to attach my cats in to my wreath. And then I'm just going to take my wire and we're going to go straight down through our mesh to our frame, y'all. And I have, luckily I have a little hole right here, so. And we're just going to pull our cat up here to it. So it's just going to be sitting on it. And again, use 2 bars, y'all. At least 2. So you get a nice tight connection to your frame. And when you are done connecting it, tuck your tails up around your bar, y'all, because you don't want anything hanging off on the back here to scratch anybody's door. So we are going to just twist that, go around the bars. A few times. And then cut it off. And the thing with wire, y'all, I like to keep it a little long when I'm wrapping, and then you can just cut it off. Because it's better to have too much than not enough, you know?
Well, that's the truth.
And there's our first cat. Look how cute he is, sitting in there. And then each of our cats are getting a little yarn ball. And my little yarn balls are made out of paracord, y'all. So it's going to be durable to stand up outdoors. Whereas yarn might not be so durable.
Unless it's alpaca yarn.
Unless it's alpaca yarn. But normal yarn,
Right.
not so durable. Let's see. Melissa wants to know, where is your yarn? Is it under the loom?
Yes. I have a tote box under the loom. And so I just toss the rug yarn in there.
Leanne says we have both inspired her so much now she can't decide if she wants to make a wreath or crochet today. Melissa wants to know, does alpaca hair dry quickly or does it hold moisture?
No, it's actually water resistant. Like when it's on the animals, they can be out in the rain and it's kind of like a duck. Kind of like a duck.
I think what she's asking is, when you wash it, does it hold moisture or does it dry quickly?
I let it dry overnight. Like when I set it out. Yep.
Cat number 2. It's typically not this hard though. Come on. There we go. There we go. Come on then. All right.
Okay, and I've,
Number 2 is in.
woohoo. And I'm on the last row. So what I did, I went ahead and I took like probably triple the length because I like to have a little extra to weave in. And so I just have the one row to do. This is the hardest row because you don't have a lot of room
Mhm.
to get it down. So I'm going to just pull the yarn through. You have to tip it up every once in a while to make sure I'm weaving it properly. Over, under, over, under. How many cats are you putting on, Matt?
4.
Ooh,
And each one has their own yarn ball.
there it is.
All right. There's cat number 2, and cat number 2 yarn ball is in. All right.
Woohoo.
Number 3.
All right. Let's see if I can get this row woven before you get the fourth one in. We can both have a completed project today. Kind of, sort of.
Kind of, sort of.
My cat's still sleeping on her mat.
All right.
The cats change out too, and I don't know who's going to be on the mat when I go and look. Alrighty.
Oh, no, you're going the wrong way. Come on.
Uh-oh. Sometimes cats don't like to cooperate, do they, Matt?
Yeah, that's why I have dogs.
I'm grateful that my dogs are being quiet. Man. All right.
Come on. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay. Cat number 3 is in.
Uh-oh.
Yarn ball number 3, on the other hand. Now that's a different story. Come on.
Okay, I see a question from Sherry. When I have my yarn made, do I get to choose all my colors? Most of my yarn that I have made is left in the natural color. And then if it's white, when it comes back, I will hand dye it into either colors that people have asked for or something that I like. The natural colors that I have made, sometimes I'll have Charlie do blending fibers in with it. So we'll add some bamboo, which will be colored, or things like that. We add bamboo, sometimes we'll add a little wool to it. Alpaca by itself, when you knit or crochet with it, alpaca by itself doesn't have a lot of elasticity, which means don't use 100% alpaca for a sweater, or your sleeves will be dragging on the floor, your arms. When you, depending on the project you want to make, adding a little bit of wool to it will give it some versatility as far as for a project like a sweater. 100% alpaca by itself is great for hats, shawls, mittens, things like that. And like I said, then, yeah, when I add the blending fibers, that's where we add color. If you look on my website under fiber, you can see some of the mixes that we do. It'll be under roving. It's called ROVING. That's the fiber that the spinners like to use. It's all set for them. And that'll show you some of the blends and the colors of when we blend it. And then that comes up in the yarn when we do it. Was that a good answer for you, Sherry?
I think it was a good answer.
Woohoo.
All right. One more cat to go.
Okay, I got 3 inches to weave. You also have a yarn ball though, right?
And I have a yarn ball, yes.
Okay, all right. Good, good, good.
Quiet dogs are true. Yes, Leanne. Yes, they are. Quiet dogs are a true blessing when you're live. I love my babies, but they can be loud.
Somebody earlier asked if the farm, if Rick was out on the farm and if it was a full-time job. It is. And when I'm live, Rick's full-time job is just trying to keep everybody quiet.
Mm-hmm. That's the hard part.
Yeah, here on the farm, some of the things that we have to do, of course, is feed and water the animals, and then pick up their poo and things like that. Less so in the wintertime because everything's frozen, of course. We have to drop heaters in the water buckets to make sure their water doesn't freeze.
Sherry says there's a lot more work to that than I ever thought. The yarn you're using today is gorgeous.
Thank you. Yeah, this is this started out white and beige, and what the core spun is, it's the leg and the belly fiber, so I don't differentiate per alpaca like I do with the regular knitting and crocheting yarn. So I can't tell you which animal this came from, sorry. But then we added the blue. So it turned out really pretty. I'm just weaving in my end here a minute, and then I'll be ripping this off the nails.
There's cat number 4. And one more yarn ball to go, y'all.
Woohoo.
Woo! I just realized we've been on for about an hour and 45 minutes.
Whoa, time flies when we're having fun, doesn't it?
Y'all, thank you so much for hanging in there with us today.
Yeah.
Truly appreciate you being here. There it is. Hope you learned some new things today.
Okay, here's the moment of truth.
Pulling it off?
I'm pulling it off.
I'm still trying to get this wire down through here, so.
Right.
There we go. Awesome. Regina's working on a wreath with us, so.
Woohoo.
Is the cat themed, Regina? All right. No. I just got to go through and clip the rest of these pipe cleaners out, and then I'll be done. How about you, Miss Kathy? You
Here
just
we
about
go.
done?
Yep, I'm taking it off the nails as we speak. Remove the loom as we speak. And here is our cat mat. All woven. I will tie in my ends and then I will give it a wash.
Very cute.
What do y'all think? And then there's the back side. Looks like the front side, doesn't it?
Looks really good.
Thank you.
This one. Right. Let me change cameras here. So I'll move my phone off.
Can I show? Okay, yeah, I can do that. Hold on. Let me get this out of the way.
And there we go. All the yarn are getting hidden here. That's not good. There we go. There's our kitty wreath. Catnip and sandpaper kisses, y'all. All right. So Miss Kathy, Melissa's wanting to know, can you show how you would start yarn on your loom?
Yep. Yep. Let me get that. Okay, I made a slip knot and I'm going to put it over the corner. Just like that. Then I'm going to actually all right, hold on. It's a slip knot. And then I'm going to make a big loop. And I'm going to put it on the one corner and bring it down to the other corner.
So you're basically going corner to corner?
Yep, you go corner to corner in this. Okay. So there's one corner. There's the other corner. Okay. And then I'm going to let my tail hang. And then I'm going to go around. All right, so it's around the corner nails. Can you see that? It's kind of hard with the black yarn. It's around the corner nail there. Okay, then what I'm going to do, let me see if I can get you a little closer here. I'm going to go around. Camera right. There's a nail here. I'm going to go around that nail. And then I'm going to come up to the other nail on the other end, the other corner. See that? And this is where you're gonna immediately, all right, so I'm around that nail. And then on my end, I'm gonna go under and over and around the corresponding nail on the corner. And then I'm gonna pull down and put it around the nail there. So now I have 4 strands around the corner nail and the first 2 nails. Now I go to the next nail and I go all the way up to the other end. The weaving is actually only done on the one end. So then I'm going to go under the first one, over the second strand, under the third strand, and over the nail. And then where I have this loop, we're going to bring it down. And we're going to put it around that corresponding nail. So now this is automatically woven on this other end down here. Let's see, down here. It automatically is woven.
And then you just repeat that process all the way across?
So that's the process. You loop it around the next nail. I'm taking it down to the other end, looping it around the nail first, holding on to it. Then I'm going to go under, over, under, over, under, over, nail. Then take that, see how it's woven in there. See how it's woven? See right here, it's woven. And I'm gonna drag it down to the other end and wrap that nail. So I'm only actually weaving on the one end. So I go around the next nail.
And then as you're going around,
Right.
the weaves just come further down, right?
Yep. And so when I get all done, this way across the center is where my center line will be that I have to weave. All right, so I'm back down on this corner, go around the nail, under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, and around the nail. And I keep my finger in there because it's woven. And we're going to come back down, come back down to the other end and around that nail. And then I'll pack it in. And you just keep repeating that until you get to the end, like I just did. It's a fairly simple process. I love it. You know, and like I said, I have these looms come in different shapes. So this is a square loom, so it'll give me a square mat. No pun intended, Matt. But I have a rectangle one that I can, in fact, I can use regular yarn on that and make a long scarf. Under, over, under, over.
So at this point, could you change yarns?
Yeah.
And then have like multiple
Exactly.
colors. So how would you end up changing?
I would make a knot. It's more difficult with the thicker yarn, but I would make a knot in the, I don't like to make knots on the edges because I don't want to, like at the nail, I like to do it just past the nail.
Mm-hmm.
not in the middle, but just past the nail. I would make a knot right here in this area and then change colors. It's harder with the coarse spun yarn because this yarn is so thick.
Uh-huh.
Like, let me show you a ruler here. Like this yarn is a 1/4 inch thick. You can kind of got my big hand in the way here. So it's going to be a huge knot. So when I'm working with the coarse spun, I don't usually change colors. I kind of save that for when I'm weaving my shawls on my triangle loom with my regular yarns. But yeah, just knot it and make sure your knot's secure. I always love to leave extra ends that I can weave in at the end, just for that added security. But you always
Melissa needs to know, when you work from a skein, when you run out of yarn, do you tie or knot on to continue?
Yep, knot it. And I try to watch what I'm doing so that I'm going to be knotting near a nail. Yep. Yep.
Very cool. All right, y'all. So we have officially been on for 2 hours.
Whoops.
So we're going to go ahead and end it here. Miss Kathy, please stay on the call.
Okay.
So thank you, y'all, for staying with us for this entire 2 hours. We appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for spending your Saturday mornings with us. We truly, 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 truly appreciate it. And y'all be kind to one another. We're in a new year. Happy New Year, by the way. It's a new year, new us. So be kind, y'all. And we will see you next Saturday with Miss Magda Fox from Crystal Headbands. Thank you so much for joining us today on Craft Chat with Matt. We will see you next time. Bye, y'all.
Bye, everybody.